It's Q2. The year is no longer new. The goals you set in December have officially met reality. And for most of us, reality has some notes. And welcome back. Welcome in to Honest Brew podcast. I am Shell from Visual Caffeine.
I'm Monique from Mojo Design.
I'm Sarah from Indigo Elephant.
And Q2 is exactly why we're here. We're here because Q2 has a really specific energy. And I would say that that energy is different for every single one of us in this room. I guess that's what we call it. But also the energy is all different for you. So we hope we address at least nuances. But there is a momentum and there's also a pressure. There's the creeping feeling that if you don't catch your breath soon, something's going to break. And spoiler, for a lot of business owners, something does. It's okay. I've been doing this for 27 years. I definitely can say, yes, it will. And I think it's better if we are realistic about things. But so today we are talking about momentum versus burnt out. What's fueling one, what's feeding the other, and how your brand's marketing and your operations are all tangled up in it. Okay, ladies, by Q2, a lot of business owners have drifted from the brand position they set in January. What does it actually look like when we get to this point? What kind of things are coming up for you when you think about January? You're now approaching Q2. I know both of you have a lot to say. Let's get into it.
Q1 was really busy for me. Usually it is one of the busiest times of the year. And as we get closer to the summer, we kind of going into Q2, I am finding that a lot of projects are coming to an end and I don't necessarily have a lot of business coming in right now. And I actually look at this like the ebb and flows of any business. I look at it as an opportunity to start working a little bit internally on like some back end system updates and things that have been kind of in the hovering over me for a long time and I just haven't had time to work on them. So I do have some new projects coming in that are smaller, and I think that I'm seeing that these smaller projects are the winning part of this year so far. It's really it's just been a strange year. I don't know if it's related to like the economy or what, but I don't know. Well, we're gonna ride this one out, and as a small business owner, you just like go through these ups and down phases, and you work it out. To be real.
Yeah, no, I totally resonate with that because Q1 was a lot of like personal growth for me. And so that meant I wasn't working how I wanted to work, in which the way I kind of felt was I had one foot on the gas, like I'm ready to go, but then my other foot's on the brake. So I'm not getting anywhere. And it's the most frustrating feeling. And anytime I experience that, it's usually because I'm trying to force something or I'm trying to go through something too quickly. And it's like, no, girl, there are things you need to learn first or let go of first or get in place first. So I feel for me, now that it's finally through my head, is Q1 is when I hermit a bit, is when I get quiet. It's when I really want to think about the foundations of my business. And then usually around March, I become feral because the clocks change. It gets warmer. Like I'm excited to show up and do it, like do the marketing, do these opportunities, call these blessings in. And that's what I'm feeling now again, even though it feels like pure chaos right now because so much is happening and I'm grateful because I know I'm built for this. However, it's still also okay to acknowledge I'm really overwhelmed. I need to go cry about it and then move forward because that was me as of today when we were recording.
Oh,
I'm hearing in both of your space, but space for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And also accessing that space in different ways, which
Mm-hmm.
I think is always important. Embrace it, or if you need it, get it.
Yeah.
I know that I remember and for our audience, I know that we could have a lot of people who just are starting their businesses. So we're all like seasoned down the road. We've learned to appreciate the quiet moments in business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, that person who cancels or reschedules, like, oh, I got an hour. Like, you
Yeah,
know, you learn to
totally. Yep.
celebrate that space, and I remember when I was new in my business, I panicked about it. And
Yep.
but I also think I had so much context around it that it allowed me to pack my calendar with stuff that was so unnecessary. I had so many years of unnecessary packing of my calendar. And I do have to say, all of my clients that I coach, consult, that inevitably becomes a conversation. Because even if you are good about your calendar, there's always going to be a moment that you need to reevaluate it.
Mhm.
Like, and in those quiet moments, that's actually something you should be reevaluating. I just did a short on touch points. So go into shorts, look for what is a touch point and how to strategize with touch points. But the reason I bring that up is because it also is an exercise in your business of things that you can do. Because if anything, analyzing your touch points, strategizing around your touch points and auditing them, looking for what shouldn't be there and also looking for what's not there, those are all good practices when you find this space.
Mhm.
Like I think our natural lean is to go into panic of, oh my gosh. And guess what? Stop. Just stop. Because that's when you make the worst decisions about the clients you bring on, the avenues you choose to take because you're in desperation mode. Desperation mode is the worst time to be looking for clients. It's the worst time to be making major decisions in your business. So if you're able to get out of that mode and say, oh, like I'm going to look at this mode of looking forward to my business, what makes sense for my strategy or things of that nature. And I want to make sure you check in with yourself and make sure you're not in desperation mode. Make sure that brain, what is that, survival brain in the back? Make sure you're out of that. Executive, get yourself back to executive. Then take actions on these things when you have that space, because that is what is going to reduce these gaps from happening in your business. And you're actually going to be expanding and delegating so you can actually have these gaps back. But it's because you're growing, not because you're starving. Oh, got on my soapbox. We should be flashing Shell's soapbox moment on my YouTube channel. But with that said, I'm going to report in on my Q2, which is, I have to say this, because of this podcast, it's actually really bringing even more awareness to me of these quarters, which is
Mhm.
actually truly a gift, because the way my creative brain works, if I have structured breakouts made for me, it is wonderful. But with that said, I started the beginning of this year planting a lot of seeds. It's making a lot of shifts of where, not necessarily shifts away, but things I've added into to help me achieve a growth in my business this year. I wanted to see a significant growth. So I was doing a lot of action around relationship marketing and strategizing, planning for things that we are putting in motion. So that was a lot of, I feel, on top of that, we had a lot of projects in. And like I've said before, that's the best time to be looking for more business when you're a
Mhm.
business. Best help you will ever have. So with that said, I'm already seeing the fruits of that happening. And and when I say fruits, I'm not necessarily talking about new business. We have had new business come in. It's awesome. We also have had new inquiries come in, which is awesome. But when I talk about fruits, I'm also talking about opportunities to expand my leadership in areas that give me and my business exposure, as well as, first and foremost, a place that I can serve with
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, with people that I would just love to lusciously serve in a volunteer capacity. But what that allows us to do is have just a place of influence and to be able to make a stand, especially for women entrepreneurs. Because as much as we are able to freely do what we do, there are things that just are happening in spaces. And when you push to more of a leadership role, you're able to advocate better. And so I just think that by getting more involved, either in your own industries or in different niche type of organizations, getting more involved and getting more into leadership positions, I just think just allows us to have the impact in many different ways and not just in our business. And so that's what I'm seeing. And I just So I'm moving into Q2 going, okay, now I have to look at my calendar and see how I'm strategizing my calendar. And also, we had an additional team member added this season, I mean, this last quarter, and she is amazing and she's working out beautifully. And she couldn't have had better timing because she's taking off a lot of things that I was keeping on my plate that I shouldn't have. And it's just creating more space, which I have to say, if I had the name of the movie of my transformation work in the last 27 years of working in business, it would be Shell Getting Space. That is thematically the underlining everything.
I do want to touch on the desperation piece because I feel like it can show up in two different ways. And I wasn't fully aware of that until this year. Because if desperation came or scarcity, it more came from like avoiding. Like I really wanted to avoid certain things. If something happened, I just wanted to cut it off very quickly. And that was a me problem and not being able to regulate, be resilient and acknowledge emotions around business or just in life. And then this year I felt I'm in a beautiful place where I'm not really operating from fear anymore. I'm operating from like what I want to do, what excites me, and having that deeper trust in myself and the universe or whatever you believe in. And what kind of snuck up on me is that clinging can just be as destructive as being avoidant. So, like, clinging to me was like clinging to opportunities that were so exciting and felt so good. I'm like, oh my God, I want it to come through. I want it to come through to where I would chronically check my inbox to see, I'm like, did they answer yet? And girl, that gave me the ick. I'm like, girl, why are you doing this? Like, I had to step away because I'm like, if I'm getting the ick, even though they know I'm not doing this, they can feel it. There's also an ick energy. And I was just like, why is this happening? Sitting with myself and being like, oh, it's because I'm afraid this opportunity is going to go. So I had to double down on like, you know what? Maybe this opportunity has come to teach me something and this is what I'm meant to learn, then so be it. So just being mindful of like these emotions or thoughts, they are normal. And the remedy for them is to have awareness around them so you can step away. Like as soon as I start feeling emotional in business, I have to do something else. And it's
Mhm.
not always easy, just so that I can process those emotions and then come back with a clear head and to just have acceptance. Like this thought came up, I know it's not true, and then you can move on. Because if we try to like never have those thoughts, we're never going to be happy. And life's not meant to be like that. So really do hope you can give yourself grace as you reflect on how Q1 went for you and like what you want to do moving forward.
I think that is a great thing to touch on. And I don't think we can touch on it too much because I think it's something, it's like a slithering little snake that comes in entrepreneurship pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Just like the scarcity monster, just like just the imposter monster.
Mhm.
All of these things can be the death to joy. And we, of course, don't want that. When any of these things that come up for us, scarcity, desperation, like these moments, one thing that can be so amazing and supportive, and we have the perfect episode for you, as always. Like, you guys seriously need to jump into our library. We have so many episodes. We have an episode where we talk about this, and it is networking because networking can be not only
Hmm.
an aspect to gain sales, but to gain relationships. And what I was pointing to earlier, to also gain leadership, to have a
Hmm.
voice. There's so many motivations to be connecting. But I also want to point to the fact that what I was talking about earlier is that I am connecting in diverse circles. So I'm in BNI. I am joining a different organization that's similar to BNI, but solely for consultants. I'm in a Catholic networking organization. I am in a solely global women's organization, like very diverse circles. And if you're like me, who wants to lusciously support everybody else and connect to everybody else, the more diverse you can be, the more you're able to, connect people that you love so much and you want to
Mhm.
support. You can connect them with people. And,
Yes.
that's only going to help you. And I'm not saying that is the motive to do it because that is not how I operate. I know some people do. And when you operate that way, it totally shows through. One of the fears around networking can be, oh my gosh, I'm joining this group and I want to lusciously support people, but where am I going to get them from? And that's the other motivation to have that diversity.
Mhm.
With that said, what do you ladies have to say about it? Because I know that you have very similar actions as I do in networking.
Yeah, so when there's sort of downtime, um, I I think it's really important to connect to it different, like you were saying before, diversity and having different circles of your life and different reaching new audiences. And so I started also joining a bunch of different groups so that it's not only like I'm not going in and like pitching all these groups every time, but it's like just the broader that the more opportunity you give yourself with these wider audiences, the more opportunity for new connections to be made and new relationships to be built. And that could totally lead to new work. And it might even happen. Sometimes I meet someone and like 3 years later, they reach out to me and are like, I met you at this event or I met you through so and so. And I remembered you because I knew I was going to be ready at some point to hire you. And so those kinds of things are it's really vital to include those things and also not feel like sometimes when I have all these networking events planned, I feel like kind of exhausted by it. But I think once I get to the event, I like come to life. It's like I get energy from other people so it's like it's almost like motivating yourself enough to like get there and then having the conversations. I notice that that's a cycle that I have personally and to just get over that initial, phase and once I get there, that's when like the doors open.
Absolutely. And I have to say, on that note, um, I've had the same thing where I've, talked to people, and they've literally said to me, I can't wait till I can afford to hire you. Or I'm in that moment of hiring you. But also remember that everybody you talk to, you're talking to everybody they know. And sometimes we can focus a lot on that direct person when it's everybody they know as well. But I also want to say on that, before I'm sure that Sarah has something to say, is that I have where people even ask me advice. Don't guard your cards, girls, men,
Mm-mm.
ladies, males, whoever's out there. Don't guard your card because you, by answering their questions, by giving them advice, you are showing them not only, wow, you're a really generous person, but you're really knowledgeable. And when you guard your cards, you can give another impression you might not want. But
Hmm.
also the generosity I talked to you about connecting people with other people, that generosity is also in giving advice. I got an email from somebody in one of my groups today asking me about, da 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 da. And I'm like, sure. And I answered him and gave him a detailed answer. And then he finished with, yeah, we've got to talk about hiring you because I really need to da 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 da. So one of the and I heard this so much in networking, people like, I'm not giving away things for free. And I'm like, seriously? If I had to say one of the things that has really like supported my business to continue to grow is being always an open book.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, anytime I do networking or coffee chats, I'm always very like, I'm relationship first. And my love language is active service. So it's like, I'm always transparent. Like, you can do what I do. It just gets to a point where you no longer have the time, capacity, or desire to do it because you did not start your business to do admin and operations. You did it to transform people's lives. And if I can be a part of that business journey, I am honored. If I'm not the right fit, then it was great meeting you. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just chill. Like, that's how I want it to feel. I'm like, this is chill. This isn't serious. Let's just figure it out. And I feel like as we move into Q2, you can bring that energy to other aspects of your business, like your marketing, your sales. It doesn't have to be so serious. It doesn't have to be like this rigid thing. Like, have fun with it because I feel like the more fun you have, the more magnetic you become, the more
Mhm.
open you are to blessings coming to you because you're not so focused on when will the next opportunity come. You're just excited to receive and then continue giving through however you want to.
Absolutely. And I got to have the quote, ladies. Are you ready for it? I got to have the quote.
Yes.
Right. I actually have two. Yeah, well, I'll torture you guys. Momentum and burnout are not opposites. They are the same energy pointing in two different directions.
Oh,
No.
juicy.
Like,
That was heavy.
Yeah, that one hit me for sure.
mhm.
And I do have to say that I love that this conversation has gone in a way that supports the burnout as well as the momentum. So we
Mhm.
didn't go into two different directions with that. We all went to the same place. Beautiful. But with that said, consistency without strategy is just showing up, and showing up tired for the wrong people with the wrong message is not marketing. That's noise. And we got a whole lot of that, mic drop, in the world right now. And with
Yeah.
that said, the soups.
Well, I need to catch my breath first because I'm both sweating and my eyes are watering from these quotes. And I would say, I feel like going into Q1, into Q2 is a wild time because Q1, we're getting off the holidays, heading into Q2, we do have that new energy, but a lot of us get distracted by taxes because
Mm,
they're going to happen, y'all. They're going to happen. But what I hope you take from this podcast is that this is just a time to reevaluate and reflect. You got so much data from Q1 on what felt good and what didn't. And now take that time to sit with yourself and be like, what did I really enjoy? What sucked the life out of me? Because that will help you figure out how you want to move forward in Q2. And the most beautiful thing about entrepreneurship is that there is no wrong decision. You just win or you learn. So just continue being open.
amazing. As always, Ad, thank you for being here. Join us next time where we are brewing up truth.